Are you ready? I got to chat to Tom DeLonge and asked him about the new
The
album.
most exciting thing about the new album is that you have those touches on the classic sound, and yet you've brought this whole new vibe with it as well. And it just feels like a really exciting time for the band. Did it feel that way when you first heard the finished product?
Well, it felt for me, it was like I really was searching for that. I really was trying to do something that was just different and kind of exploratory as far as how I grew up in what I was listening to when I grew up. So I did a very specific, intentional kind of journey, like to go, here's a song that I really love from The Cure, or here's a song I really love from Depeche Mode, or to honor those types of bands. And then here's stuff that's reminiscent of what I did, with Blink or my other band Boxcar Racer, so it really was meant to be this autobiographical journey of the music I loved. And that's what made it so diverse, and that's what made it so different. And it was challenging, but it wasn't so much like when it was finished. It was while I was doing this, I was very cognizant of how it was turning out to be a very different record that I've ever compared to anything I've ever done. So
Mm.
yeah, I'm aware of it, but it wasn't like at the end. It was like during it. I was like, whoa, I think this is really special, I guess.
Do you get nervous then putting something like that out?
I used to more. It's funny with Angels and Airwaves, there's a few years where we weren't touring, but I was still making music. So I wasn't really paying attention to whether people liked it or not. I was doing what I wanted to do. When we went back out on tour a couple of years ago, I was like, this band has been growing like crazy and I didn't even know it. And so it really kind of made me feel much more comfortable in my own skin to keep doing what I was doing, which was not really paying attention to what people want, but trying to do something that I feel really proud of. So I don't get nervous with it anymore. I still want people to like it and stuff. I don't really care if they do or not. I mean, I care, but it's not like I focus on that. But
Mm.
nervousness wouldn't be the right word, I guess. It's more like, I don't know, cautiously optimistic people are going to go on the journey with me.
I think so too. And I think listening to the album, I was like, wow. One of the first things that came to my head is I was like, how does Tom keep this passion for the music? Because you can hear the passion for the music in it. And then your PR sent through this list of all of the things that you've achieved through your lifetime so far. And I was like, is this for people's achievement? No, this is just Tom. And I thought you've managed to conquer so much in your life. And so I wanted to ask you, is there anything that you're bad at?
Yes, I'm probably really bad at focusing on one particular thing. I'm bad at being satisfied artistically. I'm bad at being complacent. I'm bad at like just sitting back and taking the easy way out. Like I'm always trying to do things I have no business doing. And but if I can if I can accomplish it or do it like halfway well, I feel like it's like a major victory, and it makes me want to do something even crazier the next time. It's crazy. I kind of wish I didn't do this. I'd be like sitting next to like a lake fishing or something, but instead I'm like, how do I make a movie? So
I
what
think
can you do?
that's for a lot of people listening right now, especially in lockdown when everyone's been questioning themselves. That's really inspirational to hear because it's like, yes, keep pushing yourself, keep challenging yourself because who knows what's on offer.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone has ever done something great in their life without a little bit of risk. Musicians tend to, like, if you have any kind of popularity, you're like, okay, we cannot break this. People like us for the sound. We got to stick to that. That's what our fans want. And so you do that, and then it's like 4 or 5 records later, you're like, oh man, we're bored. Let's change it. And then you change it, and then everyone's like, so as long as you do
Yeah.
something from day one, that's you're unpredictable and you're known as being unpredictable, then you're wide open to completely do anything. And then people kind of will galvanize around you as an artist, not just for your music or not just for one particular thing. And that's kind of what I've been trying to do is like, hey, if you like me, maybe you'll like my books or the movies or the work I'm doing with the
Mm.
government or like the albums or like whatever. I'm kind of running around trying to do a lot of different things.
Now it's time for a bit more from my interview with Tom DeLonge.
Because you are going back on tour and it is a big tour, how do you feel going back out on tour? Are you ready for this?
I don't know if you're ever ready. It's a lot of work. Like this week, it's like literally it's like 16-hour days of rehearsals and press and all
Wow.
these different things that really don't allow you to sit down and start thinking about like, what do I pack? And like, like what's my regimen for eating on this tour? Like what all the things that really kind of matter to keep you healthy and keep you sane. I always find leading up into the tour, you don't really have the ability to even have the moments to think about that because you're so busy. But yeah, I mean, for me, it's weird. Like I don't like being the center of attention, but I'm always kind of creating situations where I'm talking about myself and stuff. But I don't do this for the fame. I don't do it for the money. I do it because I really want people to feel things. And then when I have to get on stage and make so much of it about me, it's just a really uncomfortable feeling for me. It's not why I do it, but I know it's necessary. So I find myself doing the necessary part of it. But once I'm up there and the songs are flowing and it's really loud, I'm kind of go, wow, this is pretty special.
Wow. Do you know what? I think there aren't many songwriters, frontmen, whatever it might be. There aren't many like you. And I feel that humble way of looking at things and just wanting to create art rather than in it for the fame is probably what people connect with in your lyrics, because you do go to that very deep and you speak on topics that go deeper. It's not all on a shallow level, Going out on tour and seeing people across the globe, where's the weirdest place that you've been recognized? Because you must get recognized a lot.
Gosh, who knows? That's a good question. I mean, I just remember the early days. So the thing that does come to mind is like when we would fly to like Japan for the first time. Wow. And you have all these like Japanese kids screaming and chasing like the train you're on. And you're like, what the hell is this? But they all kind of somehow like what we're doing or relate to it in some way. And that's happened in a lot of different countries. I mean, even Indonesia was like that. I mean, my gosh, went to Jakarta, played there. It was like 5,000 people showed up. And I was like, wait, what? Like, who are these people? And how do they even know about me and my band? And, so it's always surprising when you have people that have been tracking you so far away in a different culture and they look so different from you. They speak so different from you. And somehow you're coming together over art. And I just think that's really cool.
Wow, do you never find though that you get kind of because you're not in it for the fame, and I can't imagine you from the way you're speaking standing there going, adore me, people. Do you never find it affects you slightly with connecting with people and maybe mentally trying to deal with that kind of adoration? I guess that's the only word for it.
Oh my God, it's so hard for me. I try to like over communicate how thankful I am that they even care. So then I find myself like, it's almost like you're kind of feeling guilty. You can't I don't do well with compliments. So they're all, oh my God, you changed my life and I grew up on you and this is all right. And I go, thank you so much. That's like really kind. Thank you. And I try to ask their name, so they go, Kevin. And then I'll go, thanks, Kevin. That's really cool of you, just so I can say their name out loud to show the respect. I try as hard as I can, but that's about the most I can do. But it's hard for me to accept compliments because I see all my faults. I see all my skill sets like end. I see that the things I didn't achieve, but I'm not walking around like, oh, whoa. I mean, I have a confidence and I have my own little ego I built where I think I'm pretty good at what I do. But I don't think I'm better than like all these other artists or whatever. I sometimes I feel like I listen to some of my old stuff and I look at what I've done. I go, man, I am so poorly misunderstood. And I was a little insecure here and said the wrong thing. And I feel like I've been searching for who I am for a very long time. And I've just kind of figured it out over the past 4 years,
I chatted to Tom DeLonge for Kerrang Radio Breakfast and I asked him the question about the news everyone's talking about right now.
One of the things I find really interesting is looking at what's going on in the news and how the world of, say, rock and pop punk has evolved in 2021. Because I'll lay it down for you. I'm not 20 anymore. I wish I was. I've not been 20 for a while. But watching, I don't know if you've seen in the news at the moment, there's this massive beef almost happening between Machine Gun Kelly and Slipknot because Machine Gun Kelly called Slipknot 50-year-old men wearing masks, and it got into like a heated debate at Riot Fest. What's your thoughts when you see like bands getting into beef?
I think it's so stupid. It's ego. It's just ego. Protect your ego at all costs. That's what it looks like to me I mean, trust me, Blink, we made fun of everyone and we thought it was pretty funny. Like some of the stuff we did, it was pretty funny, so I think there's like a fine line, but to go out there and not be funny and really mean it or something, it shows extreme insecurity on both sides of the fence. to where you have to jump in and tear the other person down because they tore you down, and no one, can make me look stupid. It's just like when bands do that, it literally comes off to me like extremely insecure, fragile ego, not sure of themselves, don't have a purpose with their art, but they have extreme purpose with their fame. That's what it looks like to me. I'm not saying that's how these guys are at all because I don't know them. But for bands to get stuck in that, and you see this all the time, that's generally how it comes off to me. But it's hard also where someone comes out in the press and says something, the first instinct is like to go out there and say something back and defend yourself or whatever. But if you want to be cool, you can't defend yourself. You just got to tear the other person down because that's cooler. If it was somebody that said that's not in the press, you wouldn't care. So so I understand why it amps people up. But I don't know, man. I just now that you're a man, sorry, miss. I don't know.
You
man.
can call me man, man. Yeah, man.
But I don't know. It's just like it's so distracting. It's just ridiculous to me. It's like it's like arguing over who got a bigger scoop of ice cream. And I don't know. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, because I really feel that now could be an exciting time for like rock music coming back into the mainstream again. Obviously, you have experienced that, and you know that there is a place for alternative rock in the mainstream. And let's just hope, fingers crossed, people don't ruin it.
Well,
fingers crossed.
I can't. We're gonna have to cross more of our fingers. I mean, it's like we'll see what happens. I think music's cyclical, and I think right now people are pretty over the past couple of years about just world events, and rock and roll has mostly a monopoly on emotion and authentic emotion if it's done right. So I think it's time for the rock and roll to come back and people can say what they feel because we've all gone through so much together. So I'm hoping that gives a little space for guitars to show themselves again.
Yes, if I could swear, I would have said a swear word, then yes after it. So just to wrap up, before you go out on tour, I know there's going to be loads of fans who have been just desperate to see you and see new songs being played. If they're in like front row at the show, what would make someone stand out to you? Do they need to wear a crazy costume? Do they need to sing all the lyrics? What makes you notice someone?
If somebody is really emotional, see, Angels and Airways is interesting because our shows our songs and stuff, our shows are full of, it's a lot of love and hope and like self-awareness. It's like a different thing. It's not meant to be just a band. It's like, it's kind of a celebration and an art project that really pushes this idea of who we are and what's our story and how are we going to make the world a better place. So if I see somebody in the front row that is so glued in to that energy, then it's just like I will use that person as my muse for everything for that entire show. I'll just like literally feed off that one person's energy. And it's just like, it's really emotional for me because then I'm like, oh my God, I'm doing something that's like matters, and then that's all I care about. I just need one person where I feel like it matters.
Do you know what, Tom? It's been so lovely chatting to you because I always had a feeling you'd be one of the good ones, and you've got such a wonderful energy. So thank you so much for chatting to us here at Kerrang.
Oh, thank you. You're so nice to me. You guys have always been so good to me on everything I've ever done. So I'm really appreciative, and I can't wait to see you guys when we get over there in the next couple months. So it's gonna be bitching.
Yes, we'll bring some beans on toast and fish and chips and a cup of tea.
Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I'll take part in all that. Thank you.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day.
You too. Bye-bye.